Kevin Jackson of the Black Spirit Radio Show. Listen to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
What's going on in your head? I think your brain is gone dead.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
This is Lachlan Marquet of the Washington Free Beacon, and you are listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
The says he doesn't have a horse in this race, but Retractor knows he does. Now he's got egg on his face. The donkey's on the left got owned by a kid. They can say it was a crime, but Retractor knows.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing the best content on the internet. Be sure to tune in every week for your favorite shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, this is Matt Lewis from the Daily Caller, and you are listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. If you'd like to call in this segment, again, please do. We welcome your call, 412-567-6879. Twitter, at The Right Mics, which so far has been dominated by our good friend, Dan Fitzgerald.
Dude, I told you he was fired up this morning. He was fired up early this morning, going after our mutual pal. So kudos to Dan, dude.
His comment, by the way, and we'll need to move on to the next thing, but right. About Fox News and showing stuff, Dan's comment was that he feels that other cable networks are looking to outside sources for approved content, and in one way or another, the journalist still exists in terms of trying to figure out how to control the narrative of events and politics.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that it exists formally, but informally, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's politics.
Yeah. Of course, there's always going to be rocks thrown at Fox. It was a little poem, wasn't it? Because, it dominates the rest of them combined. But, I don't know. Dude, I mean, again, we got to move on, but I think what they did, Bret Baier did, was correct, and I'm glad that they did it.
Yep, totally agree.
All right. Do you, listen, we got a bunch of stuff today.
Man, I know, I was just looking through the list.
Well, you know what? I was about to send you something, and you sent it to me first, and of course, we were just talking about that video, but this thing on My Way, I don't know if they linked to someone else, but Obama condemning those who seek to, quote, hijack religion.
Yes, that's the number one thing on Drudge right now. and his comment is, unless we get on our high horse and think that this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ. So this is not unique to one group or one religion. There's a tendency in us, a simple tendency that can pervert and distort our faith.
Is he a predictable, repetitive cartoon or what?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, it's exactly true. I mean, we can go back to Torquemada. We can go back to the Inquisition.
Well, yeah, hell, we can go back before then to the Romans and the Jews. I mean, but, he has to, in addition to always rushing to defend the peaceful religion, trademark, as Zip always, he puts that little TM at the top, trademark, when he talks about peaceful religion. We can go back then. I mean, we can go back to the Old Testament, okay? But... Which, by the way, those on the left love to do. So he rushes to defend the peaceful religion, and then at every opportunity, he likes to throw Christianity under the bus as well. See, the difference here being, I mean, how many hundreds of years do you have to go back to come up with examples of what, you can't come up with examples of what ISIS is doing today. Certainly, the Crusades and everything. I mean, I get all that. That, by the way, has been distorted. That there's revisionist history going on there. Look that up sometime. But he has to do that. Why does he have to do that at every opportunity? It's a question we've asked since we started doing a show together.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys like maybe Christopher Hitchens might point out that if you're in Northern Ireland, you're going to be careful as to whether or not you say that you're a Catholic or a Protestant. But, here in this country, would you rather be a black in Arkansas, any race sitting in a fervent, passionate evangelical church, or a Islam-influenced madrasa? Which one of those three are you more...
And dude, you could even throw in, or eyeball to eyeball with Westboro Baptist protesting with obscene signs in your face. You could throw that in there too. And of course, you would pick any of the above versus being a Christian shooting his mouth off in the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly. Because at least today, for the most part, it's the radical Islam follower that's killing people. So
when you have Bill Maher, dude, remember he went at it with Affleck a couple of months ago on the show. When you have Bill Maher saying bullshit, because he's trying to make the same analogy that Obama's making here. Islam is the only religion that if you say the wrong thing, write the wrong thing, or publish the wrong cartoon, they're going to effing kill you.
Right. I mean, even Richard Dawkins has come out recently and talked about the dramatic, massive difference between Christianity as it's practiced today and Islam as it's practiced today.
And Richard Dawkins, for those who don't know, being among the most famous, high profile, shall we say, atheists in the country, English fellow, has said for years condescending stuff about Christianity, as has Bill Maher. So when you got guys like that saying that, you got Bill Maher saying that, I mean, these are leftists, right? So there's something to that. Incidentally, the late Christopher Hitchens, again, British fellow, famous writer, no longer with us, the most read article I've ever written, well, at least before I hooked up with IJR, millions and millions of views. And I'm not bragging about that. It's just, this is a third rail issue. It was spread everywhere. It was linked everywhere. It was, I don't remember the title. This goes back 3 or 4 years ago. Why do atheists feel the need to, and it was some derogatory, not criticize, ridicule Christianity. Christians, I quoted him in there, vile things about Christianity. Never heard him say a word about anybody else. But
oh, that's interesting.
Anyway. So yeah.
Well, it's the other thing that Obama is saying, and this is interesting. There's a tendency in us, a simple tendency that can pervert and distort our faith. Well,
In us.
What's that?
In us.
Yes. Here's the thing: is that there are very, very few Christians nowadays that would look back on the Inquisition, for example, and saying that getting people to verbally recant theological views that are not accepted under threat of torture, which is basically what the Inquisition was.
Sure.
There are very few Christians nowadays that would say that that is right and appropriate. On the other hand, that's not the case. I mean, we've discussed this before. The percentage of people in many Middle Eastern countries that leaving Islam should be a capital offense. That's not 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 years ago. That's last year.
It's not only last year and this year if they did another poll. I mean, upwards of 70-80% of people in moderate Muslim countries believe that. So yeah, and what is really sadly hilarious about his quote here is that it's the same stuff that, again, I don't want to keep picking on Todd, but, somebody like, any liberal who's coming at you, because I don't know what his beliefs are, so just strike that. But that is the same argument that the knuckleheads come at you with, right? Well, Christianity, is no better because it used to do this 100, 400, 1,000, 2,000 years ago. It's just preposterous. There is no comparison, and one need look no further than Bill Maher, of all people.
Right. Yeah. Say what you will about the current state of, the Joel Osteen influenced church. I would rather be sitting next to Joel Osteen than what's the guy, the British cleric Chowdhury?
Yeah.
I would rather be in a restaurant where Osteen is or talking to him than Chowdhury.
Well, I'd rather have Osteen be it the case. I don't know for sure, but be a hypocrite and only interested in simplifying Christianity so he can. I just read a couple of last week, I think, maybe What He's Worth and other various top guys. I'd rather those people do that and be hypocrites than worrying if you're sitting next to the wrong guy or show up in the wrong country and say the wrong thing, you're going to get your head sawed off.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. There you go.
There we go, dude.
Yeah, there's our president. And what this was, by the way, his comments was the National Prayer Breakfast.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, to borrow his term. You know what? I'm sorry. He's an embarrassing disgrace to this country. And, I know I'm out there when I say that, but he is. I mean, from top to bottom, it's just unbelievable. And you know what? We had this discussion you and I had earlier in the week about, just because he refuses to call it what it is, which is Islamic radical fundamentalism, doesn't make it any different. But here he goes. No, not surprised at all. And he's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Right. And it was interesting. The Dalai Lama was there. 3,600 people there. It's just bizarre. My understanding, the National Prayer Breakfast, that's kind of a Christian deal to have the Dalai Lama there.
You know what, though? I'm okay with that. I mean, I have a little bit of interest in this guy. Living 40 miles from Indiana University, his brother, he's probably retired now, but the Dalai Lama's brother was a professor at IU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the dude used to come to IU, little IU. I don't know what you got out in the country in California, but in the Midwest at least, we have 1 million towns that have the little town square thing with the courthouse in the middle. I don't know if you ever. Okay, do you have that in California anywhere?
Some places.
All right, so
most notably on the lot at Universal Studios, of course.
Well, yeah. See, there you go. But Bloomington, Indiana, is one of those towns. The difference being, of course, IU is there, so you got people from all over the world. But